these past 2 weeks. Adult Swim announced on Thursday that it is producing a new original anime titled Lazaro in Japanese, for Toonami with Watanabe Shinichiro. If you don't know this name, you fucking should, because he is one of the main people behind Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and more recently, obviously, Space Dandy. And anime studio
Never heard of
Mappa.
it.
If you don't know this name, you should. I'm not gonna tell you what works they've done. You should know. You should fucking know. Yeah. Watanabe is directing every episode. He's not ditching like some, Gen Urobuchi people that we know of, right? Chad Stahelski, who is John Wick stuntsman director, is designing the action sequences for the science fiction action anime. The anime will feature a score by Jack saxophonist Kamasi Washington and producers, DJs, musicians, Floating Points, and Bonobo. Sola Entertainment is producing. So, yeah, it's a lot of money, being poured into on the hands of Watanabe. Obviously, not a name that you take for granted. Um, and Mappa, right? So I'm hoping, just like everyone else is hoping, that this is gonna turn out well. But we've had a lot of
Yeah, how many projects have we had where it's like
East-West collaborations, right?
I mean, not even East-West collaborations necessarily, but it's just like there's just
A lot
so
of
much
names.
talent. Yeah, there's just so much
Too much,
talent and
yeah.
like
Too
big
many cooks.
names,
Too many cooks.
and it's just like wow, like you hear all these like
I don't even know
big
if it's too
names, and
many
you're like,
cooks.
Well, what do
I
you
think
think
it's
is the
just
problem?
a
not
bunch
always.
of. I think it's just a bunch of names that just do not have a vision
Don't
that comes
deliver.
together. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
deliver.
it's
it
like
could
yeah,
just
like you
be
have a
that
bunch of sick people like that
the
do a bunch of
the
cool shit, but
the project
they
that they're
don't
working
jive.
on is just not great, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
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 like
it's like we've had so many of these projects just turn out like mediocre or
yeah.
you know just
I think the
not.
most infamous one is probably Chaos Dragon, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
but it's like you know I don't know. It's when you kind of I guess because obviously the fucking marketing for this is literally gonna be like you
Shinichiro
know
Watanabe and
yeah
Mappa.
Shinichiro Watanabe like
And John Wick guy. Yeah,
the guy
and John Wick
behind
guy.
fucking Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. It's like how do you live up to that?
Yeah, the curse of expectations
Yeah,
again.
you
With
don't,
Mappa, with a
right?
John Wick stuntsman, and it's just
Yeah,
up the
it's
door.
like when you hear that, it's like, oh, so this has to be at least as good as Cowboy Bebop, right? But
Oh god.
obviously
Oh,
that's not going to happen,
or
right?
the biggest thing, the problem is also, how do I say this? The producers, or not the production committee, the people who are actually funding this, right? The old men, the old white dudes who are funding this, are going to be expecting the sun, the moon, the universe, and the universe
Oh
next
yeah.
door, right? On this. They've heard, they don't know Watanabe, right? Let's be honest, they don't know who Watanabe is. They don't even fucking know who Mappa is, I think. But they know that they've made something called this Bebop Cowboy or whatever, right? That got
It
a
made a
bunch
lot
of
of money.
numbers. Yeah, it made a lot of money, and they are expecting it to do similar numbers. Cowboy Bebop, I'm gonna be honest. Obviously Watanabe is a great director, right? But Cowboy Bebop itself is lightning in a bottle. You can't catch it twice. It's hard. It was a product of both the times. It was a product of Watanabe's genius, obviously. Um, expecting something like this
I'm
in
also
2025.
I'm also gonna have like a really hot take here. I think Cowboy Bebop is carried immensely hard by its aesthetic.
No,
Like,
yeah, that
How is
too.
that a
Yeah,
hot take?
that's the first thing that everybody probably
cause
mentions, though. To be
Cause you
fair.
can't, you literally can't criticize Cowboy Bebop's like fucking story or pacing without people fucking crucifying you. Like,
That
like Cowboy Bebop, if you take
But nowhere
away,
near.
if you take away the sci-fi western from Cowboy Bebop, it's not, it's not that
Yeah,
great.
you can
right?
now though, because
Mm.
there's the Netflix version.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that also has just bad writing, just straight up, like just actually bad writing. Like Bebop's issues are in its pacing. You know what I mean? Like the fact that it goes from an entirely episodic series to a very focused like character story
Yeah.
in the span of like half an episode, like maybe 60% of the way, maybe 70% of the way through this series, right? You know, if you take the badass, you know, uh sci-fi western away from Cowboy Bebop, it's a pretty mediocre story, right? But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how this new thing goes
Yeah.
out. I mean, if they can just rule of cool it again, then by all
If they can
means.
capture lightning in the, and
But
also we have to remember that, how do I say this? Regardless of how many, and I don't want to be offensive here, but I kind of do. Regardless of how many neckbeards on Twitter keep shouting like, "Oh, we want the old cool thing flying around," blah 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 blah. Again, it is 2023. We've had a lot of these things flying around, and I'm gonna be honest. I think even if you get something that's exactly something like a Cowboy Bebop or whatever in its style, maybe even in a circle structure or whatever, you are not going to get the same sort of wow factor that you did when you first saw something like a Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, in my opinion. Just because, again, we've had the experience, right? And we've had all these other variants and we've had all these other stories kind of told to us. So I think it'll be very, very difficult to create something bigger than just kind of a fun, small flick. And I say small in terms of like story structure, right? Not in terms of money. It's obviously very big. But I think it'll be hard to create something beyond like a small fast food style fling unless the direction and the writing is just so out of this world and just very, very like unlike what we've seen. You know what I mean? Hard. It's hard. It's hard to capture lighting, and that's why these people get paid to do it. But it's also, you know, it's easier said than done. It's much easier um to just be like, yeah, just hire the dude that made the Cowboy Bebop than to have him make another Cowboy
yeah.
Bebop. Yeah.
Hey man, just make another Fate.
Yeah, just bro, just fucking Klana and just do
Yep.
it, bro.
Just do it again, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate.
It's so easy, Nier. It's called no, they already make a new fate. It's called Mahotsukai no Yoru.
Hmm.
Yeah. New.